get back to work on what really matters, what really counts, what really is concerning to human beings. When you guys use the words truth and faith and justice, the truth is our lives are eternally connected through an infinite essence. Okay, you can try to put that in a box and sell it, and you can't. Invention cannot replace creation, and creation is the essence of our eternal existence through what we refer to in our rabbinic religion as holy covenants and faithful sexual reproduction. That was the gift given to us. How it quote unquote evolved, or however you want to perceive it, is irrelevant. It's what we're living, right? So when you're talking about truth and faith and justice, truth is what I just said. Faith is having faith to sustain it through the natural laws given. Justice is not trying to take that away and replace creation with your invention. And then that's that. Okay. And apparently, the people screw stuff up. If you, like, say, invented a wormhole and then moved, through a wormhole in a space station and used stem cell research, and you say you moved Jesus or Muhammad from their point in time through a wormhole to the future, right? And if you perceived you had to try to eliminate their molecular similitude for them to coexist, and that would be wrong. That's incorrect. That would be a fallacy. Now, because of cloning, the more clones you have, the more schizophrenic and paranoid and destructive the clone gets. Okay? But if you move a molecular similitude from one point in time done by cloners to another part of the time, the molecular similitude, they're not going to be the same person. They're going to coexist perfectly. You're okay. Okay? So, trying to eliminate or kill the person who is molecular similitude to Jesus in the future would be a heinous crime, because it wouldn't be necessary. Okay. Use some kind of antimatter weapon or something like that to eliminate the young man in his 30s or whatever age he is. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant what age they are, if they're the same age or not. But to eliminate the person that is a molecular similitude of Yahweh, of Jesus. Okay. That'd be a heinous crime against humanity. But you're looking at people, look what they've done to me. Okay. Because they're right and I'm wrong, according to their false perception through their cloning and their schizophrenia, and they invent robots to maintain their schizophrenia and their psychosis and stuff. So you've got to understand, if what I'm talking about, these scenarios have already happened. Okay. The problem with the perceptions of the brain activity and stuff like that is caused by the people that are denying us the truth of faithful love and justice. Right? So they think I'm selfish because my genetic sequence, because it's the healthiest and doesn't clone, quote, survives all this hell that they were currently engaged in when I was in Sierra Vista and henceforth, right? So they see my religious beliefs as selfish because I survive it, and a lot of them don't. Okay, assassins that are business partners with cloners are eliminated, which I told them straight up. Okay, what you pray for your brother, you yourself will receive. And most of the people that you're killing off through genetic research that's flawed are the ones that are the closest symbiotic relationships to you. So they think what they're doing, they think is because of the genetic splicing of the panic of the warfare, that they're getting rid of, like Hawking thought, other animals, have survival of the fittest and kill off their weakest. If you study it in the way the wolves go after the buffalo and the one that has second, and that's not the case. And we're human beings. Okay, Tiny Tim is better than Genghis Khan. Okay, but Tiny Tim, Tiny Tim, given the right intelligent conditions, because he's not vicious and aggressive and manipulative and will try to kill and rape people off the planet because he can, is a better human being. Okay. What makes Tiny Tim sick is the selfishness and the viciousness of the people today, okay, that are not honoring truth, faith, and justice, right? Okay. And God is omniscient, omnipotent essence of truth, faith, and justice. Okay, because justice now, death. These people that are dealing in death and manipulating and feeling powerful with death. Death is a gift given to us by truth, faith, and justice by God. Okay, that takes care of itself. Now, when things are out of balance, people die young. Oh, when will they ever learn? Oh, when will they ever learn? Right? When things are truthful and faithful and we have justice. Okay, cradle to grave, you have a long time in there. Now, understanding, like Muhammad had said, and I believe it's still in the Quran, is you cannot have any more wives and children than you can lovingly provide and care for. And God, okay, gave you what you need to survive, obeying the natural laws of eternity through the infinite essence. So you have to, you can't overpopulate. You can't go looking for a new place to live because you keep fighting and fucking and you don't find ways to manage your birth rate through truly loving your wives and kids and teaching your kids, two to three, depending on how it works. Okay. Things are going to still happen. There's still going to be things that happen that cause people to have a demise beyond 150 or whatever we live to when we get to where we're going. Okay, and let's not put limits on the things about, it's 3,000, this and that. There's we maintain balance and harmony. There's no telling how long with balance and harmony in the universe and no Romulans in the neutral zone that we can sustain the beauty of life on this little planet. Okay. That its molecular structure has a different set of components for our eternal lives than our bodies. Okay, life for a planet is a lot longer than a dog or a human, right? So I'd like to know where you got the notion. So rock the boat, don't rock the boat, baby. And stop doing all the bullshit you're doing with your cars, bars, and wars and egotistical manipulation of human needs because you want to be successful and famous and influential and you have your dumb ass on a fucking commercial in front of the Messiah. Okay? Just so you know. Okay? I happen to be the Messiah, right? So, don't be concerned about what Tom Holman or Kristi Noem are thinking about you or doing. Don't be concerned about what the auto pen people think about you or did to you with vaccines and shit that they did to abuse you to set you up for the next phase of the professional wrestling scripts. Don't be concerned what the professional wrestling dumbasses are doing on TV. What about the lady from the Bush family's friend that got her mom kidnapped over money like she's the 80-year-old Lindbergh baby? Yeah, forgive debt and trespass, love one, eternal faithful peace. If you can't do that, you are rotten turd bags, you're full of shit, and you're dumb as fuck, and you got your mother kidnapped because you won't stand up for the Lord's Prayer, and you got too much money and no idea what's whack and what's dope. And if you don't like that, you also wouldn't like Guru Keith Elam, right? I like Keith. He's one of my favorite rappers of all time. Yeah, he is. Yeah, I wonder if Don Staley likes and the Aflac Duck. Well, Aflac Duck can't like anything that's just some dumbass acting like they're a duck with a CGI, right? With another dumbass selling insurances, truth, faith, and justice, right? Dun, 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 dun. Earl, you're funny. I know. Tired. So, Ralph Earl Parsons Jr. is an absolutely gorgeous, perfect man, just like the ones that came before him. And the cool thing about the ones that came before him, we are the standard of male behavior. So in La Futura, all you prima donna, Egotistical primates on TV will be human beings, and we won't have to put up with your egotistical prima donna primate behaviors, okay? And with basketball, don't put on all that show and everything like that. They used to get booed, or try when they did arrogant, cocky things to the other team to front on them, because that's all Jay do is front and lie. You had sex with Michelle Leslie Brown, who plays ball at the park? There go Michelle now. Okay, do you understand? Ew, no. Do you see what I'm saying? So stop fronting on people. Okay, have fun. In the future, there won't be a lot of Earl doing real spectacular Danny Bennett type things on the basketball court, because guys will sit there and they'll look and they'll get in position and they'll go guard their man. And if I do all the dribbling and stuff, it's just going to be like, it didn't work. He's still guarding his man. Well, coach said so. Parsons does something to make your ego get out of check. Don't go all Dennis Rodman and Charles Barkley on his ass. Don't go all Michael Jordan on his ass. Stay with your man and guard him and then play basketball, right? Damn, this isn't that hard. Yeah. So you eliminate all the bullshit and trying to hurt each other over make-believe money to, hey, I got a nicer car than you. Hey, I have sex with a woman who it looks more like Harry Mudd's women, right? You're like looking at that. It's like the one Eve, she just didn't have her makeup on. They might have put some makeup on and make her look a little bit older. The other two, they definitely put makeup on to make them look like they were older. Like their skin was crepey and stuff, real bad and stuff. And but the thing about it is what makes us beautiful is what we do. Okay, they can poison you. You can have melanoma spots on your shins that the body is not letting it get to the feet and putting it out right out the top of your shins. Yeah. It's amazing how tough my immune system is, and the stuff that, I went and did the Roundup stuff makes me sick. I get tingly hands and nerve damage from it. Just working in it. And I did what I said, I washed. I did exactly what I told all the guys to do and stuff, but it's still, it's worse if I don't, so I took my shower and stuff, and I'll get back on it Monday and cut the rest on there and stuff like that. I wish they wouldn't use the herbicides, but you can't talk to them. They don't listen. Fort Huachuca. We can program people like we program a video game, and they can't get them to do anything they don't want to do. And the brain activity has relative residual effects. Okay. So people that listen to me and attempt to try to do things to live the Lord's Prayer, they have more of a genetic sequence and connection to the line of King David, or other people like King David, Tishna the Mescalero, Cochise the Chiricahua, Little Hawk and Crazy Horse, whose daddies were white guys from the U.S. military. Yeah. Guys get in the military? Yeah. Some guys end up in the military and end up being some of the best people you've ever met. Okay. Joshua Chamberlain, Charles Gatewood, Robert E. Lee was a decent human being that it was by family duty and honor was required to. Same with Ulysses S. Grant. It made him drunk, and it was hard on him. It was a very difficult life and situation for men that did not. Robert E. Lee, he tried to love his kids and get them to protect each other for love and family and honor, and he sent them off to die, and they were murdered by other people's ambitions, and it emotionally was devastating to Robert E. Lee. Have you ever read his books? When the Civil War ended, okay, there was a church in Virginia where a black man knew what he was doing. He came in there to pray to get the people that were aggressive and abusive to stop being aggressive and abusive. And he knew exactly what he was doing because he knew who was in that church. And when he went up near the pew to bend down and pray, a man came, like Coach Henson, here in town. A man came to, or Keith Jackson, whoa, Nelly. A man came up and kneeled beside him and started praying with him. And this is a true story. The name of the man was Robert E. Lee. Okay, I'm about to cry here. I'm about to cry. I'm serious. There's not a lot that makes me cry, but certain memories and connections to people that want to live free from tyranny and live truth and faith and justice and freedom. That makes me cry. And so somebody's trying to have an intimate moment with homie here, and I don't know who it is. Maybe it's Nancy Grace. No, I don't know. I'm just being facetious. Maybe it's the little girl who works with Jenna Bush, whose mom is yeah, that's probably who it is. Is it Guthrie? I'm not sure. I haven't been paying. I told you guys I wasn't going to pay very close attention because I'm tired of all the Captain Lou Albano goes up to Hulk Hogan, and I'm sick of it. I hate it. The people that are in charge, they don't care. Guys, they're in business with cloners that put a virtual presence in your life to feel powerful, holding food hostage and having commercials where people are doing happy dances on cruise ships while children are being mass sexually assaulted in Uganda because of economic conflict. Okay? What happens is when you don't give people what they need, it happens with women as well as it does men. Okay? If you don't give people a truthful life and what they need, and they feel they're in conflict for all things that are good, okay? They keep working and working and working, and there seems no good to life. What they're going to do, most men in poor regions and stuff like that, and in competitive, violent, sexual regions, they're going to have sex with their own daughters to try to relive their childhood, okay? And a lot of times the women will have sex with their own sons, but they don't mind having their son's kid, and they don't tell everybody. And it's more fun having sex with their son than it is their husband who's fucking their daughters. It's been that way a long time in a lot of points of aggressive, violent sex cult, African sex cult activities. That's what people get real, well, they have sex with their own. And with Marley Gardner here in town, she became lesbian because she said, all the black folk in town having sex with their cousins and everybody and all that, Mom. And it's a tribal, violent sex cult warfare, brain activity thing that's happened over a long time. And it's not just exclusive to black communities. Appalachia, Royal Appalachia, Mexico, so forth. It happens a lot. Okay. It happened with a beautiful Cuban woman that I fell in love with in the service. And it was devastating to her because of how much she loved her mother. And she wanted to love her father, but she didn't understand the macho bullshit of his culture because it was supposed to have changed according to the television. Right? Goddamn television. They give you propaganda and they tell you everything has gotten better and it's changed, and we're not living the ways of Jesus Christ. We're not living the ways of the Messiah. And if you try to marry the Messiah and live his ways, all the bastards that act like bitches will try to kill him and then assimilate him to their bastard bitch business opportunity pimp Daddy Nash hoe cake factory, because hoes got to eat too. Winky dinky dog ass motherfucking brain activity. And money ain't going to save you from people being assaulted and thinking that their sexual reproduction is going to transcend this assault of being denied the Lord's Prayer. So, you can get together with all the business partners you want. You can have them plant mushrooms. You can have them sell mushrooms and sell a tisket, a tasket. I lost my little yellow basket. It ain't going to stop the abuse. The only thing that will stop the abuse, forgive, debt, and trespass, love one, eternal, faithful, peace. Stand up for the beauty of a perfect man so he can perfectly love women and children. And if you can't do that, you might want to stand down because money can't save you, kid, and you need to listen to Nesta. Your name is David, like the king of Israel. You're not a supermodel pretending to be me on TV holding food and needs hostage from banks. God damn, you guys are dumb. Okay. I've listened to these, and I was listening to the ones last night. I left a few to listen to in the barn this morning when I shoot hoops, today when I shoot hoops. But I'm like, oh my gosh, Earl. These are good. These are better than the podcast with Neil deGrasse Tyson, and they're better than the guy who has that voice who does all the you're going to watch it and it has that dude who does the voice. Is that a CGI voice? Or is that an actual guy who does the videos, Like the guy who did the Steve Sable productions back in the day with the NFL with all the Sam Spence tunes and shit. You know what I'm saying? Okay. If that's the case, Next video, we will have head crusher sweets or whatever. But I love that one. Dun 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 dun. That's one of my favorites, right? And because it reminds me of Classical Gas, yeah. And Roundup is also a favorite, and Ramblin' Man from Gamblin'. Those are my three, the ones I like the best of this Sam Spence tunes. Is it Head Cracker Sweet? I think it's Head Cracker Sweet. Head Cracker Sweet. The Pony Soldiers is also good. Yeah, that's a good one too. But my favorites is probably Ramblin' Man from Gamblin', then Head Cracker Sweet, then Roundup, then Pony Soldiers. Golden Boy and Autumn Thunder. Yeah, some of those are, yeah, they're pretty good too. But yeah, those are my four, the ones I like the best. And I think Ramblin' Man from Gamblin' is probably my favorite because it's real jazzy. And then Head Cracker Sweet reminds me a lot of Classical Gas, which we all know Earl likes that song. And Roundup is pretty cool. The dun 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 dun. You know, it's a real. It's because it's about the defense rounding up the offense, and you know. But and Head Cracker Sweet is when they dun 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 pow and they hit each other, and it's like, okay, you guys, it's tackle football, not hit football. So okay. Oh, we're going to talk about that later today too. We're going to talk about a lot of things about the changing the dynamic. It's good. Sports are going to be localized. As far as classification, like they do as far as population and stuff, and like they do in high school, you know, so it's more competitive and stuff. And since they won't be charging money to go to watch the games, you'll just be able to go and watch and enjoy. And because there won't be any conflict over survival of needs through violent oppression and sex cult activities, I, completely think that, the games will be more fun. That was a fun game, and win or lose, that was still fun to watch and enjoy. Those guys were really good, and it was a lot of fun, and they were all nice to each other and not trying to hurt each other, and they love their mama. Yeah, we all do. And so, so they'll get like that. We'll talk about that later too. So, I'm fixing everything. Well, you guys can't. It's not that you won't, it's you can't. And me, I don't have any ideas. Life's eternal. Grace is infinite. Truth is truth. I have faith in the truth of our eternal existence, And justice is living the Lord's Prayer, applying it in physics, and then, going back to truth, faith and justice. The American way, they owned slaves and thought their women and children were property and thought they could invent laws on pieces of paper that people had to accept because they all signed it. No. And they were trying their best. Okay. But I'm not Thomas Jefferson or Robert E. Lee. I'm Ralph Earl Parsons Jr. I'm Ralph and Mary's little boy from the book of Revelation. Born in the valley of the shadow of your worst sin. The invention of the nuclear weapon and using it on the Tularosans and using it on my Aunt Nana's and her people and Suzuki's people in Japan. Oh, yeah. Pearl Harbor. You invented Pearl Harbor by being in economic conflict and not living the Lord's Prayer and being a Christian nation. I want to fucking hear it. Okay? Just kneel down and pray with those two men in that church in Virginia. All right, guys? Peace out.